season.
That's it, man. This is it.
Not how you wanted to go out in Vegas, one and done, but let's just recap of the season so far. I mean, a lot of ups and downs. But what do you have to say about your team just overall this season and how you feel like you guys finished it?
Yeah, in my career, man, I've been a part of a lot of great teams, a lot of rewarding seasons, NCAA tournament teams, whatever, conference champions. But this is one of the most rewarding seasons I've ever had, I think. And I think it's because we had so many new faces to start the season. We weren't really sure how it would go, how guys were going to connect, how guys were going to buy in. And we went through struggles early. And this team from day one, though, worked. And that gave me hope, right? Like, I think this group's going to be okay. And then we went through some struggles early in the season with illnesses and injuries. We lost a key player for the season. 5 games into the year. We struggled to kind of find our way after that. But it helped another player blossom into something pretty special, I think. And I think he's going to continue to be pretty special. And then we went through the illnesses and some personal struggles and things that everybody has to go through. But when you have so many new faces, you think, man, can we survive that? And I kept saying in this room, I think this team's got it. I think we're going to be okay. And we did, man. We flipped it around. Won 7 out of our last 9 or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it's pretty special. And I felt really good going into Vegas. I knew we had a tough matchup. Seattle's a tough matchup for us. But, man, did we, we went out there and competed, to give Seattle credit, but they just beat us. But I was super proud of the whole season combined. I think when the hurt wears off and all that stuff that you have for about 10 days after a season ends, I think, man, we're going to reflect back on this as one of our best ones.
And I know going into the WAC tournament, that's the highest seed you guys have ever been since you joined the WAC. What does that say about the team that they were able to kind of shake off that really slow start to conference play and still secure a 4 seed in a conference that's as strong as the WAC?
Yeah, we weren't no favors, right? I mean, we started on the road, we traveled, we went back and forth across the country 3 straight weeks on one-offs. These guys could have shut it down, especially when those games didn't go in our favor, and when we bounced back like we did. And yeah, the schedule, we did get some more home games, but we started that streak on the road, with 2 straight road wins and out in Utah. And so just really proud of them, man. I think it just shows their character. It shows with a young team where everybody's eligible to return. We'll see what happens. That's the next stage of things. But I think that if the majority of this team can come back, I think it there's something really special brewing.
And you played 5 teams that made the NCAA tournament. Utah Valley made the NIT tournament. You played really good competition this year and stacked up against pretty much all of them. How does that make you feel as a coach, seeing kind of that, playing 5 teams that make the tournament in overall?
Yeah, and we're never going to shy away from that. That's what we want to do, right? We want to prepare ourselves for the best. I think our non-conference scheduling was a reason why we were able to, kind of continue to compete and do what we did later in the year. Next year's schedule obviously won't be released for quite a while, but we know we have returns with Omaha, who's in the NCAA tournament, and we, our schedule is going to be very similar to what it was this year, and so I'm excited about that. But we'll have some more home games, and so that's going to be exciting. But we're going to continue to play teams that are going to be, at that level, because that's the level we want to be at.
And just objectively, who do you have winning the NCAA tournament?
My heart lies with Houston because of some personal relationships, and of course they're from the state of Texas. But man, I think it's getting harder and harder to predict every year with all the stuff that's going on in college basketball right now. Rosters changing, everything moving. Man, it's hard to tell. But I'll be pulling for Houston. But I also got some personal connections all throughout. I got a secret, or not a secret. It's out there, but I got a very special place in my heart for Ole Miss and their staff. And so I'm just rooting for friends, man. But I think that Houston definitely has a chance to get it done.
And will you be supporting Grand Canyon from the WAC? I know there's a bit of a rivalry there with that team. Will you be supporting them, or are you kind of looking to see them?
No, you always support the teams from your league. You always want to see. I think it's good for all of us when teams from the league go further. And I know that they're leaving our league, of course, but hey, at the end of the day, man, they're a part of it. It's somebody we beat, and so you love to see teams that you had. I mean, everybody that we played, and I hope Omaha goes to the Sweet 16. We were able to beat them at their place this past season, and so anybody you played, you want to root for them, especially teams in your conference.
So I asked this to pretty much all the coaches throughout the entire season. I guess just give me like your rose and thorn of the 2024-2025 season.
Yeah, I think, obviously the rose of it all would be the turnaround. I think the fact that we were able to turn that season around and go on a great winning streak to win the team that is our representative in the NCAA tournament, to beat them, to do things like that. I think that just shows the character of this team, and that was what was the most rewarding for me. I think the struggle was that we did start off, so poorly. I think that we could have found a way to maybe start that streak a little sooner, but more than anything, I think when I reflect on this season, I'm going to see way more good than bad.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's make sure you're not blurry. All right. Not done yet. I mean, that's an honor to be able to be selected to a postseason tournament. Just talk about first reactions when you found out that you were going to get an invite.
I watched a lot of basketball Saturday and Sunday, just watching everybody's conference tournament, seeing how everything turned out, and in the back of my mind, just hoping that we still had a chance to get a bid to the WNIT. I was telling my team the last couple of weeks of the season that 20 wins is kind of the magic number. Like, if we can get to 20, we'll be in the conversation, with some postseason tournament opportunities. And so, so anyway, when the email came through last night, I was like, yes, let's go. I'd watched how the men's tournament turned out and the women's tournament, and I started seeing graphics of teams especially around the state of Texas, that were getting in the WBIT, and I was like, the WNIT is coming out pretty soon. And so I kept kind of refreshing my email to see, and super excited. I ran in the TV room where my husband was watching TV. I was like, we got in, and ran outside and got everybody on a FaceTime call, told our coaches, told our players. We'd find out today, who we're playing, when we're playing, but super excited. We did not end the year the way we wanted to. I didn't even recognize the team that played on Thursday. We need to, find ourselves the next couple of days and figure out how to play Wildcat basketball again. I don't know if the stage was too big on Thursday in Vegas or what happened, but it just seemed like the lights were kind of bright. We did not play as well as we had been playing up to that point. And so I'm really excited for this team just to have another opportunity to play together. Once your season's really over, it takes a while to kind of process what all went on during the season, how much fun you had, and then just processing like you'll never coach this team again. Players leave, we have new players are coming in. And so I'm just excited for this team to have one more opportunity at least to play together, and hopefully we can maybe string some wins together.
And, I mean, what does it mean? What was your reaction that this team found out they get at least one more chance to play together? I know this team holds a special place in your heart. What does that kind of mean, that despite not being the end result you wanted, you still get one more game?
Yeah, we had a FaceTime call. I was on my back porch just seeing everybody's little faces on my phone as I told them that we, got invited to the WNIT, and everybody was screaming. They were so excited, and we didn't really know if we would get invited, but we're very grateful for the opportunity to practice a few more days, to keep this team intact a few more days, and just put our best foot forward. You have to play your best basketball in March for sure if you want to continue playing. And so our goal is with each practice opportunity we have this week, getting ready for the first round of the WNIT, we need to be sharp. We need to put the team first. We need to be the best version of ourselves and get ready for this first matchup.
And you had a little taste of postseason experience with the WAC tournament. Do you think losing that game could actually help you in the WNIT? Kind of, you know what that feeling is if you lose this game, your season's done, and you know how to, you've already lost one. Where's the pressure? So is that kind of how that goes? Or?
Yeah, after you lose a game, there's always like reflection, like what should I have done better? What could I have called better? Who should I have had in this situation? Just there's a lot of reflection, and you're like replaying every play in your head. And our players do that same thing. And I don't know that there was anybody that was like, yes, that was the game I wanted to end on. And so we're thrilled and grateful at the opportunity to have another game.
And with that game, what were some of the things that you kind of learned in that WAC tournament loss?
I don't know if the lights were too bright or the stage was too big, but we didn't play as confidently as I anticipated that we would. I felt like we had a tremendous week of prep, getting ready for that game. UVU was so fresh on our minds. We had just played them the game 2 games before. So it was surprising that we came out and did not play with more, awareness and confidence. But we're so excited to have a lifeline, second life. We get to assemble this team together and get ready to play another game.
That's it for me, actually.
Okay.
Thank you, Coach. Pretty good week for you last week. 4 out of 5.
Played 3. Yeah, 1-3 out of 4 actually.
Yes. I couldn't remember if it was a 4-game series against Sam Houston. Not a bad week. Go to SFA, pick up a big win, and then win 2 out of 3 against Sam Houston, which is a solid program. Kind of talk about your team and how you felt about that week.
Yeah, it was a good road trip for us. Still learning and trying to figure a few things out on the fly, but anytime you can go 3-1 on the road, I think you probably take that, especially when 3 of those are in Huntsville, Texas. And yeah, I went back and looked the last 20-something games between us and Sam. You know, you're going to get a 1 or 2 pitch game, and that's kind of what we had two of this weekend. So they compete real well. They play very well at home. They got some good baseball players. So we knew that was going to be a tough series. Thankfully, we were able to win on Friday. I think the extra inning game, some guys got to step into some roles, and I think we got better from that, and then yesterday was a really well-pitched game. The wind was blowing in, and it was just hard to score runs, so we lost a 1-run, 2-1 game there on Sunday, which is a little bit unusual. But again, good baseball game. They found a way to win there, and we didn't. So a lot of great things to take away over this last 3 or 4 weeks. I think our team has gotten better over the last month without question. That's what I told them yesterday. I just hope that we'll continue to push through, and if we can look back up in a month from now, we're continuing to get better, which I think is the trend and kind of the standard here. I like where we'll be, at the end. So we opened up conference this weekend. So not that you're ever ready to start it and open it up, but I think we're much better now than we would have been 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, since March, since the start of March, you've had an 11-game win streak, and you've only lost 2 games out of that. I think 3 of those games you haven't scored double-digit runs. And it seems like your team is kind of firing or figuring out who they are right now. How good is that to see as a coach from a coaching standpoint?
Yeah, this group's totally different. I think we're the mentality, the attitude, the way they play, the dugout conversation, the dugout language. They're a pretty loose bunch. I think that's who they are. It's not because of the results. We're more process driven here. So we've given them some time to kind of take some ownership of it. And, they're enjoying each other and growing closer together, I think, as you push through it. And thankfully, we've been able to learn some lessons here while winning. It's always more fun to come to the ballpark when you won yesterday. At the same point in time, we're still growing together and trying to figure out what pieces are need to go where. I told them yesterday, I think we've got the right pieces. We're still trying to put the puzzle together, if you will. So feel good about where we are, feel good about the hitters, the offense, the lineup. I think we've defended well. So hopefully we'll just keep on trending in some good areas there across the board to become a complete baseball team.
And your last 2 series, you've won those. You talked about it last year at least, the importance of winning a series. I mean, it's always nice to sweep, but winning a series, you do that every time through conference, you're going to end up in a good spot. The fact that you're able to come into the conference play on kind of a high note, winning the last 2 series you played, how does that help?
Yeah, so we're 5 series in, which is crazy to say because it's gone fast. 1 pitch away versus Illinois on a Sunday, then we win that one. But you can always say that. I mean, Sam could say the same thing this weekend. I think our sport is built around games that are going to be decided in 2 to 3 pitches normally. I'm assuming this weekend will be very, very similar. So it's positioning yourself to where you can get the right guy in the right moment at the right time that's prepared for that situation to hopefully make a pitch, execute a pitch, or drive in a run if that's what it takes, or get a bunt down if that's what it takes. So we've won 4 straight, I think, when you look at that. But again, wins are great. It's just, for me as the head coach here, it's just, are we getting better in the areas that we need to get better in, which I think we have. But we've got to continue to do that to get where we want to go at the end.
And you had another matchup right here at home against Stephen F. Austin. Talking about that game, known rivalry, former conference foes. Already went to their place, got a big win there. Talk about how kind of exciting it is to host a team like Stephen F. Austin, especially within Texas that used to be your conference rival.
Yeah, it was weird playing them on Wednesday with it not being a league game, a midweek game, which all games are important.
when you look at it on the record. But there's usually a little different feel sometimes with a conference matchup and when you've played each other on weekends. So it was neat to play them. It'd be great to have them back. This is our first midweek game, that we've been able to host on campus with our construction. So that'll be great. We've got, Wednesday night, Stephen F. Grand Canyon here this week, and then Dallas Baptist comes to town, I think, next Tuesday. So one cool thing I want to mention, this is our first ever that we've actually brought to light is just going to be a worship night on Wednesday against Stephen F. So we're fired up about that. That'll be different. I hope the community shows up, especially our church community. It's going to be a cool night where there'll be some worship music playing. There's going to be some testimonies playing, I think, from our mission trip in the fall. So it'll be a unique night. I hope a lot of folks can come back, and I hope we can play some good baseball, and bring them back. So looking forward to hosting Stephen F. Austin. Excited to get conference started this weekend with GCU. It'll be great to have a ranked team in Dallas Baptist here next week. So when you look at the schedule, there's 3 different teams here this weekend that hopefully our guys compete at a really, really high level against here that are all, 2 national names, but 2 in-state, powers as well.
And, you're 5 days away from starting conference play. How exciting is that for you guys? I know the non-conference games, like you said, do count, but these ones are the ones that really count on your record. Just kind of talk about the excitement building into that, and how you feel your team is prepared going into those series.
Yeah, I think we're prepared. We've got 20 games under our belt. Again, we're still trying to figure out a few things, as that'll still be the case. Who we are probably this weekend will be totally different than who we are when we start the conference tournament. But to your point, these games kind of start that seeding process of putting yourself in a position to maybe not play a game or two the way our conference tournament's set up. The first and 2 seeds, they get a couple of days off and kind of set their pitching up, not playing until Thursday. So that's what we're shooting for. We're obviously playing Grand Canyon, who's done a tremendous job, has been as consistent as anyone in the country, over the last, 5 or 6 years when you just look at the whole body of work. So that's what we're trying to become, as a consistent regional contender, a team that's finishing the top 1 or 2 each year. We finished second behind them last year. So hopefully this year, we can take another step forward, but that starts this weekend. I don't think the championship's going to be won this weekend, but it can certainly be lost if you don't show up and play. So I think understanding that, and we're going to push through the next so many weekends here to try to win as many series as we can to put ourselves in the best position possible in the tournament.
And playing a team the caliber of GCU right off the bat, how's that going to help your team kind of figure out, especially with so many new faces, hey, this is what WAC play is like, this is what you're going to have to beat if you want to be a conference champ?
Yeah, I think there's certainly the standard in terms of just the overall win-loss perspective. I think we've gained some ground, certainly. But, man, they're so well coached. They're going to have a really good, starting rotation. Their bullpen's going to be strong. They're super left-handed. They've got some experience coming back offensively. So you're going to have to play well to beat them. I hope teams say the same thing when they come play us. I think when you've got 2 teams that are talented, and they certainly have talent, but when you've got 2 teams, we talk about it all the time. When talent meets talent, toughness is usually the separator. So, again, that's something we want to hang our hat on, an opportunity to put some 1s versus 1s, hopefully, and hopefully some toughness will prevail in that regard in our favor. But at the same point in time, whoever plays the best baseball this weekend will probably win the game. That's just kind of how our sport is, man. It's a team that pounds the strike zone the most and puts the other hitters in leverage counts versus the opposite, and pressure the defense and catch and throw. So hopefully we'll do that at a high level this week.
So I believe you guys have won 10 of your last 11 games, and previously you credited being able to get back into the facilities and kind of being back at home. What have you kind of taken away from this 2-week, 3-week stretch of games?
Yeah, it's just been we've been into a really good rhythm. We played on Wednesdays, which is a little unusual sometimes in our sport. Like starting next week, we'll get back to a Tuesday game. So we've been able to have in my mind, really good productive practices on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which again, a bit like today, Monday's a day off for us. You get back late at night on a Sunday. Usually you take Monday off. The guys kind of reset. So, man, I think our guys have practiced very hard and very well. We've got some guys out there, you know, on the mound in some different scenarios, which I think is starting to show up a little bit in games. So I think our bullpen's starting to get in order, if you will, which was honestly a little bit of an issue early on. You know, when you look at it, starters' pitch counts were down. I think we've kind of solidified that. You know, we got 3 strong starts again this weekend for the most part. The bridge guys have, you know, kind of emerged, and then we've got some guys at the back end that we trust. So, honestly, I think it's just in a rhythm, getting comfortable, getting back into a routine, which is so critical.
And I've asked you previously about goals. I know you mentioned you know, this team's not necessarily big into goals, but with the start of conference play on the horizon, I guess what are you hoping that this team can accomplish?
Yeah, so I think life's trends create some momentum, good or bad. I think, you know, we've went from 4th to 3rd to 2nd. So the expectation, hopefully this year, is you keep on climbing. There's only one more spot to climb. And again, I've already referenced how good Grand Canyon, how consistent they've been. So that would be the mark. I mean, honestly, to finish in the top 2 would be, if there's a goal that sets you up for the best run in the conference tournament, that would be it, to finish in the top 2, because that pushes you to Thursday. But we're for sure chasing championships here, and that's a goal of ours, not on the wall anywhere. I think that's just something that we all want to strive to do, is be the best in what we're trying to do. So, yeah, maybe that answers the question. Top 2 would be great because that gives us the best shot to play the minimum games to get to the postseason, which would be a regional. But, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say we're not aspiring to become champions here. That's certainly what we're working towards, and that's the next step for our program in the WAC.
Awesome.
All right.
Coach.
Thank you.
All right. I know you've lived in Texas before, but that's kind of UTA territory. You got a West Texas welcome.
Yes,
Over the weekend.
yes,
Nothing
yes.
like a little dust storm to
Yeah.
open up the
Yeah.
home opener. Kind of just talk about that and how you felt going into the game with the whole without being able to see the sun, basically.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we were just excited to play at home. We have talked about it a lot, just that weather won't be a factor for us no matter what the conditions are. And so I really am proud of our team and how they responded to that. I will say, I think that it gave us the upper hand in some ways because we do practice in it at times. I know Rick, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. He's like, we play in this just so you know, like this is what we do. And I was like, okay. So we were prepared and we were ready, but I think it was great. I was proud of, like I said, I was proud of them and just their ability to bounce back and not let it affect them.
And I mean, you guys got to start playing at home more because apparently it works out. I mean, getting a serious sweep. Correct me if I'm wrong, Evan. First series sweep in how many?
2 years.
2 years. That's pretty good. The fact that you're able to get up in your first series at home. Talk about that.
Yeah, huge. Just like I said, so proud of the team, the way they responded. I mean, we played a tough, segment in Seattle and then obviously in Oregon. And so those games didn't necessarily go the way we wanted to. And so just, again, the powers in the response and they came back and responded. So just excited. Obviously, it was worth the wait, right, to get to play at home and then to be able to sweep. It's hard to beat a team anytime 3 times in a row. So that last game was just like, I talked to them before we started. It's just like, just find a way to grind it out, because at that point, you know everything about them. They know everything about you. And so to be able to do that on Saturday was just big for us moving forward and good momentum going into this weekend.
And I mean, it helps when one of your pitchers throws a no-hitter in game 1 and then goes out and shuts the team out in the game 2 of a doubleheader. Kind of talk about that. I mean, pitching is kind of been tough to start the season, but I mean, you can't get any better than that on a Friday, right?
Yeah, sure. Lena's been throwing great. I mean, honestly, all year, and we just haven't had the support necessarily offensively or defensively behind her. So for us to put it all together, that first game was awesome. So close to a perfect game too. So that was great. And, going into the second game, I don't think there was a doubt in my mind. She didn't throw very many pitches that first game. And so just knew that we wanted to go after it again in game 2 and she wanted the ball. And so we just went with it. And so for her to be able to do that, obviously 14 innings, it's big time. So huge for our staff, huge for the team, just the confidence. And then even just on the flip side of it, offensively, we only put up 1 run. But to be able to hold out a team, that's been something that we've been working on and talking about and trying to learn as we go forward and learn how to win games. So for us to do that was big for us.
And what does that help kind of momentum-wise? Being able to see on the schedule, hey, we won 3 straight, we won a series. What kind of confidence does that build for this team? Especially with all the kind of the new faces, including the coaching staff.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, anytime that we're still in the conference hunt, and I think that's the big thing that you just want to keep continuing. We got swept last weekend, so we were able to bounce back and sweep this weekend, and then you got to go into every series thinking you're going to win it. Obviously, the sweep is the cherry on top. So I think it's just reminding them that they're capable of it, continuing to hold them to that standard, and just excited to go into this weekend. Every week is a new week. We reset and we refocus, and we go back after it. So.
And you get a little bit of a reunion this week, if I'm not mistaken. Going to UTA, a place you're pretty familiar with, I'd say. Kind of talk about the emotions that kind of go into that of returning to a place you've coached before. I mean, it's your literal last stop.
Yeah.
You're going to be familiar with the team. You're going to be familiar with the coaches. Kind of just talk about that, advantages, emotions coming in.
Yeah, I mean, like I've said all year, just excited. Again, another opportunity to get out there and compete. And I think this one is just even a little bit more important because obviously it's conference. So we're both fighting for the same thing. And so just knowing that what we're capable of and going up against who they are and just watching them and their track record so far in conference, I think that it's going to be a battle, and it'll be a battle to the very end. So leaving anything outside of that away, just at the end of the day, it's about our athletes and what they're able to do on the field.
Are you going to have any kind of advantage because you were just there, or is it kind of a new year, new everything?
I think things change, as things shift. Ultimately, I obviously know a lot of their kids and their recruits and all of those good things. So it'll be good to see them at the end of the day. And, this game it goes far beyond the pair of white lines that we get to play in. So it'll be nice to just see them and, get to compete against them.
Perfect.
My turn.
Okay.
So number 31 had herself a weekend.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how, having a performance like that, how that can kind of spark some momentum for a team that hasn't necessarily been great record-wise, but, this girl just threw a no-hitter and had all these innings of shutout baseball.
Yeah.
for softball.
Yeah, big time. I think honestly, so great for Lena. She's been working really hard, and like I said, the results haven't necessarily matched how well she's been pitching, and she's pitched against some of the best teams in the country, and we've been right there with them. So I think for her, it was just nice to see that the work that she's putting in is going to pay off, and I would say that for the rest of the team as well. I mean, we talk a lot about it in practice. How you practice is how you play. How you do anything is how you do everything, and so getting to have some big time plays defensively this weekend was really helpful. I think just to see there's a reason why we practice it, so that way it pays off when we are in the pressure situations and need to execute. And same thing offensively. So just continuing to grow and learn and kind of come together in that way. Anytime that you can sweep a series, it just continues to bond the team a little bit closer and know that they really do have each other's backs.
And then conference play, when does that start for softball?
It started 2 weeks last week.
Going into our third week. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I guess going off of, because I'm not very informed on softball.
That's okay.
The department I work in. I guess with this, how do you think this could potentially boost a spark in conference play?
Yeah, big time. It's huge momentum shift, I think, and like I said, that confidence piece is big. Just continuing to build off of it every single day, and like I said, the work we put in is going to be, substantial into going into this weekend, and then just going out there and executing. Hope we get the same result on the other side.